Woo! Just finished up doing sprint drills, and today's, so I got like another quarter mile cool down. And so today's message today is stop killing yourself. Instead, do something that makes you feel like you're dying, or feel like death. I guess I don't remember what I typed into this point. What made me reflect on this is I am working on my goal of running a sub 255 marathon by the end of the year. And so I'm here in Dominican Republic, where it was 86 when I first started running this morning. And from Washington, I'm not acclimated to running in the heat. I got a lifetime of running in the rain and the cold. So in order to reach my goal, or actively work towards it like I intend on reaching it, I need to modify my start time, just starting earlier before the sun's up, and then increase my speed. So I talked about in previous videos how strong the default is. Even though I have a fast default, my mind wants to autopilot back to that. So it's just something that I have to consciously be aware of. So I cranked out the speed drills today, 6-minute mile sprints for half mile, quarter mile cool downs, and then repeat for 6 drills. And then I realized at the end of it, that's pretty easy. Shoot. Which means I need to bump up the number of sets or bump up my speed time, or do both. Because in order to then satisfy the body's ability to require adaptation, one has to push beyond the physical boundaries and ultimately push themselves to where they're at their breaking point, which, you guessed it, everybody, feels bad. Now, I kind of like think of healthcare now, if you can extrapolate this. What does healthcare say? Do this and see how you feel. Do this thing, take this pill and see how you feel. Take this Prozac to feel better. Take this antidepressant to feel better. Take this anti-anxiety medication to feel better, as it then continues to allow your body to die. Because, make no doubt about it, this isn't theoretical. If you're neurologically dysregulated and your nervous system is stuck in a fight or flight response, you're actively dying. Your body is literally killing itself in survival mode. So ask your doctor if killing yourself is right for you. And then the thing that's so interesting is that you can measure it's HRV. It's in heart rate variability. It's in the majority of like smartwatches and Fitbits. So you can get your tool now and start tracking it and see where your score is. And there's likely going to be one of really 3 options. Option number 1, you have a good HRV. Okay, so I remember I was counseling a doctor about this one because she had this, she's like 80-something-year-old lady who began care, and her HRV was perfect. Ooh, beautiful. Which we like good scores, don't we? Got an A+ on the test. Yes. So it's kind of like an A+. However, this old lady had a low quality of life. So this is group number 1. Perfect HRV, low quality of life. Meaning, she couldn't do anything. She didn't have the energy to even walk down her block. And she wanted to go with a group of people at her retirement facility to walk on the different outings throughout the course of the day. So, you may be in this group. Perfect score. But you want to do more with your energy life. And typically people think I'm referring to like be able to exercise and train. Fuck that. The reason why I stay strong and healthy so I can play with my kids. So when there's a challenge that needs to be taken on, I can take it on. I don't do this to do this. I do this because that's what's required for my biology in order to meet the challenges of my day. My kids want to play with me. I want to be able to play with them. I want to be able to play hard. I want to be the strong dad. I want to be the fun dad. I want to be the high energy, enthusiastic dad who works on projects. So if you're not the fun, strong, high energy person version, whatever role you have, there's no shame in that. In fact, that is just step one. There we go. And accepting where you're at. And then looking at your score and being like, okay, this is where I'm at. Perfect score. Not where I want to be as far as moving, connecting with other people. Gotta go climb over my gate because I didn't bring my key. And having energy. Okay, so then group number 2 is that you're actively doing the things and your HRV is bad. And this is where I was counseling this doctor. She had this lady, started off with care, starts getting adjusted, does her follow-up scan like a month later, 2 months later, whatever it was, and she's got a really bad HRV. And she's like, oh my gosh, what I'm doing is not working. Bad score. I like having good scores. I like having my A's in tests. Almost as if that was trained into us at a very young age, rather than looking at the test as simply a feedback mechanism. Good score, good. Bad score, bad. But nonetheless, I started asking her questions like, well, this lady, she had a goal, right? To do more. Is she, in fact, doing more? Yes, she's doing more. She's now walking to friends. I'm like, how far could she get before? I had struggled to get across her apartment. Now she's walking blocks with her friends. Her quality of life has gone up. Is she feeling more sore? Yeah. Is she feeling more exhausted in the day? Yep. But overall, her quality of life is meeting her goals of who she wants to be in her life. Okay, so suggestions for this group of people. It's real easy. If you want to get your HRV into better stance, there's 3 activities you need to work on. Continue to move, connect with other people, nature, and then brain to body via the vagus nerve. And that third one is, and by the way, when I say connect to nature, like really, like I'm saying connect to God. So it's like, it can also be worship services or Bible or outdoor nature. It's just typically when I say connect to God, like, people's default is judgy asshole Christian. That just has cliche phrases. So I try to limit it to keep people engaged. But that's what I mean. So connect to goodness, nature, scripture, other people, vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is the big one where people miss because they don't have the tools in order to do so. So this chiropractor, she was thinking like, maybe I should cut her back on care because she's clearly not doing good. So she's not gonna like this bad score. She's gonna be like, what are you doing? So rather than using it as an opportunity to say you're putting more demand on your body, and very much like if you plug more things into a circuit breaker, you know, overload circuit breaker. Same with her nervous system, and then really that's chiropractic adjustments reset that circuit breaker. So she had to do the opposite, right? Again, and that's our default, isn't it? Our default is, I got a bad score, clearly I gotta do less. I gotta do less because I got a bad score. But understanding is realizing there's a calibration that happens between the brain and the body. Fight or flight, rest, digest, develop, heal. So HRV indicates you're leaning more towards typically the poor HRV or low HRV means you're more stuck in fight or flight mode, meaning your body's producing energy in the form of adrenaline, cortisol, stress hormones. So in order to balance that equation, to bring it back into balance, focusing on things that engage the other side of the neuroanatomy then elevates the score, which is, again, movement, connection, and then creating. And this is a big one where, again, oftentimes people miss this part of the puzzle because it's so easy to passively entertain ourselves. So we don't create, we just consume. But when a person starts to create something, like, for example, building a garden, working on art, learning a skill, learning a language, then what happens is the brain starts to produce dopamine, which becomes it's a cleaner energy source and doesn't take 48 hours to detox from it. And it gives us healthier energy, which then replaces the need for adrenaline. And then HRV comes back into balance. So the third person is the person I am right now, where your HRV is optimal. Mine's actually high, the topping out on the imbalance side and the high side, meaning I need to push my body harder. So that's a kind of a fun world living right now. I haven't been there for years because of the constant stress during the pandemic. But even though I moved a lot, I ran 8 to 16 miles a day during all the stress of the pandemic. I moved a ton. I didn't really have any connections with other people, and I didn't have any connection with nature other than running in nature. And even though I read the Bible every single day, I was not getting my vagus nerve reset enough in order to counter out that equation. And I was not creating because I had become in such a defensive state. The only thing I was creating is defensive things, right? I created a full defense for the multiple government agencies that thought I was doing bad things, even though I had the best health stats at any health facility in the area. And that's where my equation got out of balance. So now, in the Dominican Republic, this place was a fully overgrown, jungle, wild center. And this is what was required to balance the equation for my HRV. I had to create something so significant to balance out the energy of the stress from the pandemic. So if you find yourself there where you feel like you're dying or feel like you're killing yourself with the day in, day out stuff, try those 3 things. Move more, connect, God, other people, nature, brain to body, get the vagus nerve, and then create something. Instead of consuming, if you find yourself consuming a lot of technology, create something. Just create anything. And then do it again.